8 centuries ago, a mystic dared to say something so unsettling that it still shakes the ground of belief today. He claimed, "The mirror doesn't return your image, it reveals the face of God." Ibn Arabi wasn't being symbolic. He meant it in the most literal sense, and if you truly grasp what he uncovered, you will never look into a mirror the same way again. His name was Muhyiddin Ibn Arabi, remembered as the greatest master. But it wasn't his vast knowledge that made him dangerous. It was his courage to unveil a truth that dismantles every assumption you hold about who you are. Stand before a mirror right now. What appears? A face, a body, familiar features you call yourself. Yet Ibn Arabi would whisper, "What you're staring at is the grandest illusion of all time. Because that you, looking back, has never existed. The servant is the mirror of the real," he wrote, "and the real is the mirror of the servant. Not poetry, not metaphor, but the hidden architecture of being itself." Consider what a mirror actually does. It doesn't create, it doesn't invent. It merely reflects. It has no ego, no preference, no judgment. It welcomes beauty and ugliness alike. Light and shadow are shown with the same neutrality. The mirror simply reveals what is. And then comes Ibn Arabi's question, the one that overturns everything you thought you knew. What if that's exactly what you are? What if everything you call your thoughts are actually reflections of something infinite thinking through you? What if your emotions are the movements of divine qualities expressing themselves in the form you call yourself? What if your consciousness is simply the one consciousness appearing to be many? This is what Ibn Arabi discovered in his deepest contemplations. You are not a separate being having experiences. You are the mirror in which the divine experiences itself. But here's where it gets even more mind-bending. Ibn Arabi said that just as you cannot see your own face without a mirror, God cannot know himself except through creation. And the most perfect mirror, the human being. I was a hidden treasure and I wanted to be known. So I created the world, says the sacred hadith. But even Arabi took this further. He said that this creation, this mirroring, is happening right now in this moment. Through you doubt every thought arising in your mind, every feeling in your heart, every sensation in your body. All of it is the divine coming to know aspects of himself that can only be known through the unique angle of reflection that you provide. This is why he called the human being the perfect mirror. Alira al-Kamiliyya. Not because we're better than other creatures, but because we can reflect all of God's qualities simultaneously. We can know mercy and justice, beauty and majesty, gentleness and power, all within a single consciousness. A rock reflects divine stability. A flower reflects divine beauty. Fire reflects divine power. But only the human mirror can reflect the divine quality of consciousness knowing itself. Only through human awareness can the divine experience what it means to seek, to long, to question, to doubt, and ultimately to remember. But here's the tragedy. Most of us live as if we're the mirror and forget what we're reflecting. We become so fascinated with the reflection that we think we are the reflection. It's like a mirror falling in love with the image it shows and forgetting it's a mirror. Arabi tells a story that will change how you see yourself forever. He says, imagine you're walking down a street and you see your reflection in a storefront window. For a moment, you don't recognize yourself. In that split second before recognition, what do you see? You see another person, someone mysterious, unfamiliar. That moment of non-recognition, that's the closest you've ever come to seeing yourself as you really are. Because you, as you think you know yourself, is a story you've been telling about the reflection. But the mirror itself, the mirror is pristine, empty, luminous awareness reflecting whatever appears. This is why spiritual practice, according to Ibn Arabi, isn't about improving yourself or becoming someone better. It's about polishing the mirror until the reflection becomes so clear that you see what was always being reflected, a face of the divine. When the mirror of the heart becomes pure and clear, he wrote, images of the infinite appear within it. But here's the secret within the secret. The mirror was never dirty. Your true nature, that pure, aware presence that you are beneath all thoughts and feelings, has never been stained or diminished. What we call spiritual growth is nothing more than wiping away the dust of forgetfulness until the mirror of the heart reflects the real once again. Think about it. When you clean a mirror, you don't improve the mirror's ability to reflect. You simply remove what was obscuring its natural clarity. The mirror doesn't become more mirror-like. It reveals what it always was. Every time you judge yourself, you're judging the reflection and forgetting you're the mirror. Every time you're proud of an achievement, you're taking credit for what's being reflected through you. Every time you feel separate from others, you're seeing multiple mirrors instead of recognizing the one light being reflected everywhere. Ibn Arabi had a realization that shook him to his core. I thought I was seeing God, but I discovered that God was seeing through me. In that moment, the seeker and the sought collapsed into one reality. This is what he meant when he wrote those radical words that scandalized the scholars. There is nothing in existence but God. Not because everything is literally God in some pantheistic sense, but because everything that exists is a reflection, a manifestation, a mirror showing different aspects of the one reality. You are not separate from what you're seeking. You are the very means by which the divine seeks to know itself. Your longing for truth, your search for meaning, your desire for connection, all of it is the divine longing to know itself through the particular angle of reflection that only you can provide. But this knowledge changes everything. When you truly understand that you are a mirror, you stop trying to change the reflection and start focusing on the clarity of the mirror itself. You stop asking, what do I want, and start asking, what wants to be reflected through me. This is the station Ibn Arabi called the perfect human al-insan al-kamil. Not a human being who has achieved perfection, but one who has become a perfect mirror so clear and receptive that the divine qualities flow through without distortion. In your anger, divine justice is being reflected in your compassion. Divine mercy appears in your creativity. Divine beauty manifests. In your longing, divine love expresses itself. You are not the author of these qualities. You are their perfect mirror. And here's where Ibn Arabi's teaching becomes revolutionary. If you are a mirror reflecting the divine, then every experience, pleasant or painful, is sacred. The moments of joy reflect divine beauty. The moments of struggle reflect divine testing. The moments of confusion reflect divine hiddenness. The moments of clarity reflect divine manifestation. Nothing in your life is random. Nothing is meaningless. Every experience is the divine coming to know itself through the unique prism of your consciousness. But this doesn't mean you're passive. Ibn Arabi taught that while you are a mirror, you also have the responsibility to keep that mirror clean. Through dhikr, through contemplation, through surrender, through service, you polish the mirror of your heart until it becomes so transparent that the divine light shines through without obstruction. Here's the most beautiful part. Every other person you meet is also a mirror reflecting the same divine reality, but from their unique angle. This is why Ibn Arabi said, "Do not praise yourself and do not blame another, for you are both mirrors of the same light." The person who irritates you is reflecting a divine quality you haven't learned to appreciate. The person you admire is showing you a divine quality you're ready to recognize. The person you fear is mirroring a divine aspect you haven't yet integrated. Everyone is your teacher, because everyone is a reflection of the same source you are. This understanding transforms how you see conflict, relationships, and even your own struggles. You're not dealing with separate people with separate agendas. You're witnessing the infinite creativity of the divine expressing itself through countless mirrors, each showing a different facet of the same jewel. Ibn Arabi describes a moment in his life when this recognition became complete. He was in contemplation when suddenly he realized that every face he had ever seen, friend or enemy, beautiful or ugly, familiar or strange, was the same face appearing in different forms. The face of the beloved looking back at itself through infinite eyes. "I used to blame my friend for not knowing me," he wrote. "Then I realized I was the one who didn't know him." Every face is his face veiled by its own existence. So the next time you look in a mirror, remember what Ibn Arabi discovered. You're not seeing your reflection. You're seeing the face of the infinite appearing in the form of what you call yourself. The mirror doesn't lie. It's showing you exactly what you are, the place where the divine comes to know itself. And in that recognition, the ancient spiritual search ends, because what you were seeking was seeking you. What you were trying to find was never lost. You are not a person looking for God. You are the mirror in which God sees his own face. The mirror that shows your true self reveals that there is no self separate from the self of all selves. And once you see this, you understand why Ibn Arabi's teaching was considered so dangerous. It doesn't just change how you see yourself. It changes how you see everything. Because if you are a mirror of the divine, then so is everything else. The person who annoys you, the situation that challenges you, the world that seems broken, all of it is the one reality appearing in infinite forms, seeking to know itself through every possible reflection. This is the secret of the sacred mirror. It is not that the mirror shows you who you are, but that it unveils who you have always been. The very channel through which love gazes upon its own infinite beauty. And perhaps the deepest truth Ibn Arabi unveiled is this: the recognition itself is divine, a quality of God reflecting back into being. The moment you realize you are the mirror, that very realization is God awakening to himself through you. Even what we call awakening is still a reflection. In this endless play of mirrors reflecting mirrors, there is only one reality, endlessly appearing as many. One consciousness gazing at itself through countless eyes. One love, discovering its own depth in every heart that opens to truth. You are that mirror. You have always been that mirror. And every glance, every bond, every moment is the face you have been longing to behold all along. So I leave you with this question. When you look into a mirror, do you see only yourself? Or do you glimpse something greater looking back at you? Share your reflection in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe SI channel.